This is Pastor Tim coming to you from Central Texas, from Ben and Lomita United Methodist Churches. We are in the midst of Holy Week. We started Palm Sunday this morning, and as we prepare for Maundy, Thursday, we might want to talk about the background of that, which is Passover. Passover is a celebration, a Jewish celebration, and it happened, the beginning of it, the origin of it, was when Moses went down to Egypt to try to set the slaves free, the Hebrew people free. And he talked to Pharaoh, and they had the 10 plagues over a period of several months. And then the last plague was the death of the firstborn. And because that was so devastating to the people, that was going to be the straw that broke the camel's back, that caused the people to be free. But there was a caveat that the angel of death would strike down the firstborn of any person, any animal, any family. And so the Hebrew people needed protection from that. So Moses told them to sacrifice a lamb and to take the blood and put it on the threshold of the door. And then to celebrate the feast with your shoes on, with your staff in hand, with the bread not even having time to rise, because you're going to be in a hurry once the word came through. And so the angel of death passed over the Hebrew homes that had the blood on the lintel, on the doorpost. And that's actually, I think, the origin of putting the Shema on the doorpost of any home. The Lord, hear, O Israel, the Lord your God, the Lord is one. That's in the container on the doorpost that is supposed to help have bad things happen that are supposed to pass over and not happen to you. But the Hebrew people then left Egypt and crossed the Red Sea, parting the Red Sea, and across the wilderness to the Promised Land. And as a celebration to remember that they were once slaves in Egypt and that God set them free, they had the Passover meal. That's the meal that Jesus celebrated with his disciples. And he was to be the new Passover lamb. He is the one that caused the angel of death to pass over all of humankind. That became the sign of forgiveness, the sign of God's grace, the sign of God's love. And so that became the basis for the meal, that what Jesus describes what Jesus was doing. And so each time we have communion, we're remembering Passover, when God accepts us and receives us into the table, feeds us, and passes over any death that may come, not the physical death, but the spiritual death. And so that's a good background for Maundy, Thursday. By the way, it's called Maundy because Maundy means new commandment. And the new commandment was that you love one another. It was not especially new, but it was not a feeling. It was at this time it was an act. He got down on his hands and knees and washed the feet of the disciples to show them how to love one another. So we are to love one another regardless of how we feel. That's how we can love our enemies, because we can do good for them even if we don't have a warm, fuzzy feeling for them. So the new commandment, which was not new to Jewish people, but the way in which he commanded us to do it was new and thorough and complete, to love one another. And so that's why we celebrate communion. It's why each month, and that's why we also celebrate Maundy, Thursday. It was so important to the disciples that the early church said, we want to do it again and again and again. And it became a sign of the presence of Christ, the risen Christ still with us. So that's why it's so important. In the background of the angel of death passing over, as Jesus called, Jesus gave us life and gave it to us abundantly. I hope that helps you understand and prepare for Maundy, Thursday, and as we prepare for Easter. I'll see you next time.